Hey everyone, welcome back to XVolt Tech. And you saw that intro correctly, I've switched to Android. Oops, wrong phone. Here it is, it's a Google Pixel 6a. It's been about a month since I made the transition, and I want to talk about how my first 30 days on Android has been, and what I miss about iPhone. There's a few things that I really like about Android that makes me glad I switched and make me very unlikely to switch back to iPhone. Firstly, I love the way that apps are managed. You can choose which apps go on your home screen, as well as have the icon match your theme. And if you need another app, you just swipe up and it shows you your most recent apps, and then all of them in alphabetical order. Secondly, gestures are really effective, and they make it easy to navigate the phone without excessive tapping. The three buttons usually associated with Android can be replaced with swipe gestures to the app manager, home screen, and to go back. From the home screen, you can swipe up for all apps, swipe down for the control center. Calendar events show up 30 minutes before they happen in the place where the date is usually shown on the home screen. This is great for me because I'm still in school and I have my school calendar actually saved to my phone, so I can always tell which period is next because my schedule is very strange. Weather and the current date is always shown on the lock screen and the home screen, as well as always on mode. Notifications aren't as intrusive and can be easily dismissed. Green and blue text bubbles also don't exist. It's a pure fabrication by Apple. You can actually change the color of your text bubbles. Take that, iPhone users. Google Cloud services work a lot better on the computer than iCloud.com. You can export frames from videos and save it to your photos. Of course, with switching, there's a few things that I miss about iPhones that I feel iOS did do a little bit better than Android. The Notes app on iOS, for me, works a lot better than Keep Notes on Android. Specifically, Keep Notes doesn't allow me to add checkboxes to just certain items or let me sort notes by date created. The Android Photos app also doesn't allow me to search for text within images in the search, but I still can highlight text. Scanning a QR code is a little bit more difficult, as on iPhone you would just have to open the camera app, but on Android you need to download the Google Lens app and then be able to read it from there. There is also the whole thing with most people that I know using iPhone, so texting experience is kind of hit or miss, but for the most part I've had a decent experience with just texting, and if I needed someone to send me a video or a picture that doesn't come out in the best quality, I just ask them to send it to me through WhatsApp, and there's no issues through there. I actually prefer WhatsApp for certain things, so really it just works out for me. As you saw, I was able to come out with a lot more positives than negatives for how I feel about Android. All this comes from my personal experience, and this experience may differ for you and what you use your phone for. One of the big reasons I switched was because I wanted to break out of that Apple ecosystem. I never was one to use Apple devices except when I owned my first iPod Touch, and then an iPad, and then an iPhone, but I was never a Mac user despite the absorbent amount of Macs that is in my room, but I've never really been one to use a Mac. The only exception to me not being an Apple user anymore is that I still use an iPod and I still use iTunes. iTunes isn't signed in with my iCloud account, and iPods are completely separate from everything else in Apple besides iTunes. And the reason I use iTunes is not just because of the iPod, but because there's no other better free music players, and Windows isn't really that good at that either. Windows used to be until they removed Windows Media Center in 2012 with Windows 8. I still don't like that because Windows Media Center was awesome! The other reason was because I wanted a better experience with using a phone, and iOS really wasn't doing it for me that much. And I really knew through my research that Android was going to be that better experience, and over this past month I've really seen how correct that I have been in making this choice. Plus, if I was going to get a new phone, I would rather spend $300 on a Pixel 6a than $1,000 on any of the newer phones. It's just not worth it for me. My first month on this phone has been absolutely stellar, and I'm looking forward to using this phone for many years. Even though Google officially says that their security support will end in 2027, I can install a custom Android ROM on this to extend the life of this phone by many more years. Thanks for watching.